Unless you've been living under a rock for the past few weeks, you're going to already know about Team Norway in the World Cup and their Viking rowing chant. It's everywhere. It's really cool. I think it's really neat. And it inspired me. I had an idea. I was like, you know what? Something that we could do that would be really fun, I think it would be fun, is do a one-day build where we build a little app that's a throwback to the early days of the App Store. You think about when the iPhone first came out, 2007, 2008, and the kinds of apps that were being built were kind of gimmicky, kind of silly. There was one where you'd push a button on the screen and then a glass of beer would fill up, and then you'd turn the phone and then the glass of beer would you're drinking from the phone. And I was like, let's try it. Let's do it. Let's do a one-day build, and let's see if we can build a Viking rowing chant app. And let's have some fun with it. So by the end of this video, we're going to one-shot this app, maybe. I mean, we're going to try to build it in one shot. And we're not going to use any music, no copied music. We might have to borrow the sound of the crowd, but that's it. And we're not going to polish it. We're not going to clean it up. We're just going to take what we get from our AI agent, and we're just going to deploy it. We're just going to push it to the App Store, both App Stores. So buckle up. We're going to dive right into it. Here we go. So we'll do a little bit of planning before we just dive into this and start prompting. So what is our success criteria for this build plan? What are we trying to do? We want to make sure that when someone opens the app, they understand what it is and what it does in 5 seconds or less. We want to try to get to as few controls as possible. We want to do one button on the main screen that starts the rowing sequence. So one button. We're going to try to get the drum sound, the deep drum, and then when the user uses the accelerometer and pulls the phone, that's when we're going to get the chant. And we could even try to do some kind of a visualization on the screen so that there's oars or rowers that are animated. We might not do that. I'm more interested in the sound. And we're going to use our original percussion. We'll try to replicate the crowd sound. And that's it. Just try to deploy that as quickly as possible and see what happens. So we're going to have a few basic controls in the app. We're going to have a start and stop button. We're going to have a tempo slider of some kind. We want to be able to adjust the tempo if we're not happy with it, or if we want to try to speed it up or something. A nice to have would be if there's a crowd intensity adjustment that we can make. Both in 2-axis, if we can increase the size of the crowd or increase how loud the crowd is. And then we could set a row counter for how many rows it takes before the chant is done. So the viral clip has 3 ingredients. It has rhythm, it has group participation, and a visual action that everybody understands. It's very easy for people to jump in and join in. And the app is not going to try to recreate the whole event. It's going to try to just recreate the sound, the aura of the energy of that environment. So we're going to try to do that. So now the question becomes, which agent do we use? And I've been using Codex a lot lately, and I haven't really had a lot of opportunity to play with Grok much at all recently. So I think we're going to go with Grok 4.5 on this one. All right, let's build this app. Here we go. Okay, let's begin. We're going to use Ghosty as my terminal because I don't have that set up for anything else at the moment. Okay, so here's Ghosty. We're going to use, this is our terminal. Grok Build is already installed, so to activate Grok Build from a terminal, after you've done all the setup, all you have to do is type Grok. And it should, there we go, fires right up. All right. Now, what we need to do before we continue here is we need to set, actually, let's back up. Let's back up. We're going to quit. We're going to quit. Hey, come on. There we go. Okay. I forgot. I almost forgot. we're going to go to make a new folder. So we've talked about this in the previous video. We're going to make a folder at the same level as my home folder. So it's only going to be restricted to what files it can find in my folder. Viking Chant. We'll just call it Viking Chant. So then we're going to go into that folder and then start Grok. And now we're safe. It doesn't have access to everything. It only has access to a completely empty folder. And we could use talk to text to prompt for this app. However, I really enjoy typing for my prompting, only because if I talk to text, I put way too many ums and ahs into the prompt, or I'll change my mind halfway through. Whereas if I'm typing, I find that I'm a fast enough typist that my thoughts, I have time to organize my thoughts while my fingers are working. So if you're wondering why I'm typing, that's why. It's not a lack of a microphone or something. So let's begin. Hey Grok, in this project folder, let's work on a fun new project. Let's please make a React mobile application using the EAS system and Expo Go for testing. The recent World Cup Team Norway viral chant has been really cool to see. Our app will be an homage to the viral Viking chant. This project is called Viking Chant. Our plan is to build a mobile app that will be deployed to both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. What else? We will need to generate the audio of a loud bass drum and the audio of the crowd making the chant sound. The bass drum strikes twice. The chant follows a call and response form where the bass drum is struck twice and then the crowd pretends to pull on oars, and as they do so, they make the vocalization. Now, I don't know if they're saying you or who or yo. I'm not sure. I'm going to go with yo. If that's wrong, let me know in the comments. And actually, why don't we just make it an option? We can just set that as a setting. The vocalization is something like who or yo or you, depending on region and other factors. The bigger priority is that we get the audio to sound like a crowd, a large crowd. It would be great if we could get the crowd to have two variables, both intensity and crowd size. Crowd size ranging from a few thousand to 100,000. And then here's a nice recommendation. If you're new to this development with AI, this is an important step in the process right here. Now that I've given what I think is enough direction, what I have in my mind is all of the information that I could possibly think about, is I want it to check my logic. I want it to take what I've given, evaluate other projects or evaluate just in general, and then come back to me and ask me questions. So let's add that now. Given the parameters and information I have provided so far, please ask me any and all questions that you need answered before we start building. You want to specify that, because if you don't specify that you don't want it to start building anything, it just will. You have to be careful. You want to make sure that you've laid it. So maybe our prompt has gotten us to 50% or so far, or we've got it to 75% or 80%. You want to try to get your prompt to 95% coverage of the idea before the system starts building. So that's the idea here, is you don't want it to accidentally start building the project and then have to go back and change a bunch of things. You want to try to build as much clarity and information as you can before it starts. So and then I like to throw this in at the end. I don't know, this is just my style. Please follow all common, what's the word that I usually use? Best practices. Please follow all best practices and housekeeping. Oh, please enable Git in this project, as we will be we'll make this open source. We will be making this project open source on GitHub soon. Okay, so it should come back with a list of questions. Inspect project folder and tool chain. Yeah, go for it. Yes, always approve that one. Perfect. Look at this. 40 questions. I love it. Oh, Grok is amazing. This is great. This is really, really good. Okay. So this is how I do this. This is how I develop stuff. Before we build anything, here are the questions that will shape architecture, audio, UX, and store deployment. Product and UX, core interaction model. Number 1. Is this primarily a tap to play the full call and response loop app, a live concert style controller, tap drum hold for oars, or both? This is a tap to play the drum portion of the call and response, but we will use the accelerometer in the device to trigger the crowd chant. So the drum strikes and tempo are set in the app, but the user has to respond by rowing the phone, the device. You can do this on iPad if you want. We'll see. Number 2, who is the main user? This is going to be solo fun at home. Solo fun at home. It would be cool if content creators played with the app. 2. 3. Must have screens on V1. Example, home player, intensity. Oh. We only need a home screen and an option, settings screen. Super simple app. 4. Continues loop until stop. Fixed number of cycles. Fixed number of cycles that can be specified in settings. 5. Visual design direction. Oh yeah, no, we're gonna go I'm not sure on this one. Let's go Viking theme. Let's see what Grok comes up with. Be creative, but don't be cartoony. We'll see if that's enough direction. Haptics. Should drum hits vibrate? Yes, please. I didn't think of that. That's awesome. That's great. And so if I hadn't asked Grok to ask me questions first, I wouldn't have thought of that. I wouldn't have thought about using haptics when the drum hits happen. That's really cool. I'm really glad that Grok thought of that. Offline first. Oh. We don't need an online mode. What do we need it for? Everything will load on install, and we don't need any live connection for anything. Alright, audio, most critical. How do you want audio produced? Pre-generated layer sample banks, best for Expo reliability and large crowd feel. Real-time synthesis on device, hybrid. Sure, I mean, since Expo is a constraint, let's go with the option that is best for Expo. So let's go with A. 9. Drum, 1 deep bass boom, 2 distinct hits left, right, or room to add more percussion later. Let's try a few options that can be configured in settings just to save time in case we don't like them, and then we'll do another build where we remove the ones that are no good. Bass drum needs to boom, so we need a decent amount of reverb and presence. 10. Crowd vocal. Prefer a specific sound? Yeah. Let's make it user selectable, and if any of them sound weird, we'll remove it after an initial build. 11. Timing, approximate BPM or pattern. Yeah, you want a reference video link? Sure. Sure. Copy link. Here is a reference video link from Times Square. NYC. 12. Intensity versus crowd size. Confirm mapping. Size. How many layered voices, spatial width, denseness, intensity, volume, aggression, pitch, energy, tightness of the hit, or should they be one combined energy control? Size. Yes, that sounds great. Intensity. Let's combine for now. If it's weird, we'll break them out. 13. UI for size, intensity, 2 sliders. Example, yep, stepped presets. Let's do 2 sliders with detents for preset levels. Why not? 14, audio assets. Can we start with royalty-free original AI-generated samples you approve, or do you have commission-specific recordings? Please use any royalty-free audio you can find that is good, or we can AI generate it. We'll want to test some options before build. 15. Loudness/safety. Any max volume guardrails, or this is loud warning on first launch. Sure, but how do we do that? How do we check that? How do we test loudness before an actual on-device build? Sometimes when your AI agent asks you questions, you respond with a question, because I know what it's asking, and I kind of agree that we do want to at least warn the user, like, hey, this app could be really loud if your volume's turned up all the way, it might blow the speaker. But how do I know that? Maybe the AI generated audio that we create isn't very loud, and so it's not a risk. But until I actually have the app running on a device and I turn the volume all the way up, I don't know that. I don't know, and I don't know how it would figure that out. It might be able to calculate it based on the volume from the audio that we're using, but I have no idea. 16, language, TypeScript or JavaScript. Yeah, let's go TypeScript, please. Sounds good. 17, router/structure, Expo router, file-based versus single screen, classic Expo app. Let's go as simple as possible and just do a single screen. APIs Expo Build doesn't support well. Well, there's a good question. Expo Go only for now, or also prepare for dev client if we need audio APIs. Expo Go doesn't support well. You'll have to tell me ahead of time if Expo Go can't do what we're trying to do. Should we change the build target to be native iOS and Android? Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe we should make this a little bit harder on ourselves. Maybe Expo Go in particular isn't going to allow us access to what we're trying to do. I don't know. I've never done this particular style of app in Expo Go yet. We're going to find out. Target platforms for day one, iOS and Android only, or Web 2? Well, Web doesn't have an accelerometer, so it's going to be, because of the accelerometer, it needs to be mobile only. 20. Min-OS versions. Any hard floors? Just use whatever OS versions are currently supported by Apple and Google. It's not like it's a complicated app. EAS account, you already have an Expo account. Your scaffold, so you plug your credentials in later. I do already have an account. Yes, please scaffold for now, and I'll plug the credentials in later. 22, package manager. Oh, well, please, NPM. Thank you very much. 23, display name, Viking Chant, Team Norway Chant, or something else on the home screen store. I think it's safer to use Viking Chant so as to avoid any potential conflict with the soccer team. Don't want to get sued. 24, bundle IDs. Oh, I don't know. We're gonna have to come up with a bundle ID. Ask me again later. I'm not sure yet. But it will be something like com.vikingchant.app. But don't use that yet. 25. License, MIT, Apache, managed for open source audio asset licensing. I've never done my own open source project yet. Which one makes sense in this context? 26. GitHub, org or personal account? Personal account. Private until polish. 27. README, contributing. Want full open source scaffolding? Yes, please. Full open source scaffolding. 28. Git author. The GitHub account username is Vernc. 29. Publisher, individual or company. I'm going to use my company account for publishing so I don't have to dox myself in Europe. 30. Monetization for V1. Let's go free with ads and pay to I don't know. Pay to turn off the ads. 31. Age rating content. Loud audio, sports chants, alcohol. The alcohol. Did we even talk about that in the prompt? We didn't even talk about that. No. This is fine. Kids do the chant in the stadium. 32. Trademark. Yeah. Don't. All right, number 33, privacy, analytics, location, accounts. Let's only do the bare minimum data collection that we need to serve the ads and just keep track of how many users we have. But don't create any overlap with the built-in App Store tracking. They do have some built-in tracking already. We don't need to reinvent the wheel if that's already in place. Scope and process, MVP definition. What's good enough to test flight internal testing? I think we're targeting a simple enough build that we don't need to MVP. We can just go to final product as quickly as possible. It's a one-day build. We don't need to worry about MVPs. Nice to haves later. Multiplayer sync, Bluetooth speaker mode. No need for multiplayer. Bluetooth would be nice. Custom vocal packs, widgets. No need for custom vocal packs. No need for widgets. Watch app isn't a terrible idea. AR would not apply for our current design, but Vision Pro could eventually. That sounds like a lot of work. I don't know if we're going to want to do that. Share video with sound. I'm not sure how we would share video with sound if the user is shaking the phone to make the chant sound. 36, reference media. Can you share the chant cadence you want to match? Use the video link shared previously. 37, timeline. Casual hobby pace or target date for store submission. We're on a 1-day build challenge. We're going to submit ASAP. 38, design assets, app icon, splash, generate something Viking themed. Oh yeah, no, please generate all necessary assets. 39, testing devices, iPhone, Android, or both on hand with Expo Go. At the moment, I only own iPhones, so I am unable to test Android. Alright, what else we got here? Suggested defaults if you want to answer quickly. If rather to prove a sensible starter kit instead of answering everything. So this is kind of nice, actually. I find some models will do this, and they'll give you the big long list of questions that you could answer, or it will just make some good assumptions. Like here, Grok is just going with default proposals for all of these different things. And if you want to go a little bit quicker, you can just say yes. Just follow your proposals. Just go with what you're suggesting. But I always like to take the time. 39 questions. We've answered them. It's going to give it a much clearer picture of what we're trying to achieve. It's going to have a much tighter scope of what the app is supposed to do. And let's see how we do. Here we go. We're going to hit send and see what Grok 4.5 can come up with. Spec is locked enough to build. I think it has a few more questions. Oh no, it's just starting. Oh, okay. Okay, so because I asked some questions, it has a couple more clarifications that it wants. Okay, spec. Okay, pulling the reference chant and locking technical recommendations. Spec is locked enough to build. Answer to your open questions, then the build plan. Answer to your open questions. 15. How do we check loudness without a store build? We can validate a lot before production binary. Asset Lab, Mac, peak level, stage, desktop preview, Expo Go. Yeah, oh yeah, well, yes. We cannot fully trust laptop speakers for stadium boom, but we can reject bad samples. Expo Go versus native. Do we need to change targets? Accelerometer, Expo Go, yes. Drum, crowd audio samples, Expo Go, yes. Haptics on drum, yes. Offline settings UI, yes. Google Ad Mob ads, no. Needs a EAS development build. Paid to remove ads, no. Bluetooth speaker, yes. Okay, well, the ads were an afterthought. We can just eliminate that. Just forget that part. We don't need that. We're going to open source the app anyway, so whatever, it's fine. License recommendation, use MIT, fine. I expected it to say that. free ads, free plus ads, in-app purchase to remove ads. Reference key in Times Square video call, double bass hit, response or pull plus mass vocal will match that feel from the clip. Tight drum double, and then window for the user to row, and then the crowd sound. UX sketch view 1. Viking themed stage, long ship, dark fjord, stadium backdrop. Great. So it's giving us the description of what it's planning on building. It's giving us the list of what it's going to do in the settings. Session logic. Play drum hit 1 plus haptic. Short gap. Play drum hit 2 plus haptic. Open response window 0.8 to 1.5 seconds. If accelerometer detects row gesture, play the layered crowd. Otherwise, if it misses, gap before next cycle. We'll tune gestures thresholds on your phone. So we'll wait till it's physically running on device before we make any adjustments or tuning. 1 day risk order honest. Oh, come on. It's fine. AI is being humble, but we can definitely get this done quickly. Okay, ads plus in-app purchase, longest external setup, AdMob app IDs, App Store Connect products, EAS secrets, often blocks, same day store submit, even if the app is done. Well, we'll just skip that. Small remaining choices, defaults if you don't care, reply only if you want to override. Misbehavior, no crowd sound versus quiet half crowd. Default, no crowd. Oh, okay, here we go. So there's 7 questions it mentioned down here. 7 defaults above. Teaches the mechanic. Default cycle is 8. Default vocal, who? Ad network, Google, AdMob, standard with Expo plus in-app purchase, remove ads. Remove ads price, $2.99 USD. Get author, that's my GitHub account. No, we don't need that. Company legal name for store listing, your company until you say. All right. Get on main, exploring to get ignore, initial commit. What we generate. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna enter the 7 overrides. So 1, I agree. No crowd is best. Number 2, default cycles. Sounds great. Number 3, default vocal. Sure, let's go with that. Number 4, ad network. Sounds good. Number 5, remove ads price. Sure. Yes, that works. 6, get off or get plus email you want. Keep machine default. Keep machine default for now. And last but not least, 7, company legal name. We'll fill that in later. And then right here at the bottom it says, say go. I was curious what it was going to do for generating the drum and the crowd sounds. What tool it's going to use. What it was. How it was going to create that. It's just making it. Oh, okay. Generating synthetic drum and crowd wave sample. I don't know how it's going to do that. I fully anticipated having to go into audio engine, game engine screen. I was fully expecting having to open up like GarageBand and use a kick drum from a drum set or something. Accelerometer. Very nice. and a purchase module. And a purchase not wired yet. We won't spend the time to wire that up in this video. I'll do that separately. After, I'll probably push the GitHub so you guys can download it and play with it. And then when I go to submit for the App Store, I'll add that stuff in. Alright, it's working on the home screen, the main UI. Pretty simple app, pretty basic, only 2 screens. It's a good test, I think. Kind of fun. Crazy that we're only at 2 minutes and 42 seconds. And we can see it's doing a lot of work here. It's overriding the default design of the Expo app. Audio samples are ready. I'm going to ask after how it generated those, what tool it used to generate those sounds. Really curious. Actually, what I'll probably do is I'll put this on GitHub as it is right now, without too much more work into it. We'll do a bit of testing, then we'll put it on GitHub, and I'll fork it and do App Store submission. Bundle succeeded, committing the full app and wrapping up. Viking Chant is scaffolded, building and committed on main. iOS, Metro Export, and TypeScript both pass. What you have: Expo SDK 57, TypeScript, NPM, home, start stop, crowd size, D10, cycle progress, row, stage, settings, cycles, 3 drums, haptics, volume, remove, ads, UI, call response engine, accelerometer, rowing, plus tap the ring, fallback, nice, haptics on drum hits, offline sample banks, 3 drums, and 12 crowd waves. Interesting. Okay, I'm excited to see the UI. ES profiles, add mob plus 200, remove ads, stubs, Expo goes safe. Good. MIT, okay, great. Run on your iPhone. NPM start. Alright, well, here we go. We're going to run this right now. Let's see if we can get this to fire up. Sometimes Expo Go can be a little picky if I'm not on the same network or if there's some kind of an issue, but let's see if we can get this to fire up right now. Let me bring over a terminal window here real quick. Let's get into Viking Chant. All right, and then let's see what happens. So this is running locally. Yes. Don't bother scanning this. It's not going to work for you because this is running local. That QR code looks kind of messed up, actually. My phone is saying no usable data found. Let's see here. Yeah, so it is running locally. Let's try this again, because it doesn't look right. I wonder if I need to expand the window or what the deal is there. Let's try running it again. Still doesn't look right. And my phone doesn't like the QR code. Let me try opening Expo Go. And let's try a different start command. Oh, let's try S. Will that work? Open. Allow. Expo Go. Allow. Project is incompatible with this version of Expo Go. So, there you go. So we've hit a snag. Requires a newer version of Expo Go. Way to fix this. Download the latest version of Expo Go from the App Store. I can do that. And I will do that right now. Except that I already have the latest version. Unfortunately. So, we got to tell Grok we got a bit of an issue here. So let's kill this process. Let me move this out of the way here. And let's see if Grok can help us. Hey Grok, the project doesn't want to run on Expo Go. I am getting an error that the project, I'm getting this error. Let me highlight this here. The issue is when I go to the Apple App Store, I am already on the latest version of Expo Go. Can you please change the target build of Expo Go to an older target? And then that should clear it up. Likely ahead of the Expo Go build on the App Store, checking the project and pinning an older Expo Go compatible SDK. App Store Expo Go is still on SDK 54. This project is on SDK 57. So it's just going to update a few things. I don't know, it might be a lot of changes, hopefully not too much. Hopefully minor things have changed between the three build numbers. But this is the reality of coding with AI, vibe coding. When you run into issues like this, a lot of the examples that you'll find online are people just say, fix it. Okay, but what is it? What's the issue? If the screen says something and you're not familiar with what it is, ask. Ask what it means. Like if it says project is incompatible with this version of Expo Go, and you follow the direction, you go to the App Store, and you hit this kind of a snag, and you don't know what that means, you need to ask. Your AI doesn't know what you don't know. So dependencies were reinstalled and aligned. We're now on Expo SDK 54, which should be compatible with what we've got on this device. So we're back in terminal. We're back in our Viking Chant project folder. You just press up to rerun the same command. There might be a name for that. I don't know what it is, if there is one. We hit enter. All right. And then let's see if this one works. We're going to hit S to switch to Expo Go. This one works, wants to open in Chrome. How would you like to open this project? I would like to open this project in Expo Go. Allow. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, so it put up a warning. Loud audio. Viking Chant uses strong bass drums and crowd samples. Start at a comfortable volume. Stadium energy, not ear damage. Oh, okay. This is awesome. This is really, really awesome. There we go. So there's our warning. Actually, I'll take screenshots. We'll put them up on the screen. I would do a screen recording, but I'm just excited. I'd have to fake it. If I took the time to plug it in and screen record it, you'd miss my real reaction. Okay, so I haven't changed any of the settings. This is just the default screen. I'm just gonna hit start. Okay, we have a bit of a conflict, unfortunately, because the Expo Go system uses Shake to bring up the developer menu. So that doesn't work. That doesn't work, unfortunately. That was pretty cool. Master volume. Okay, so I'm looking at our settings page here. I'll put that up on the screen for you guys to check it out. This is really fun. Okay, so what I'm finding is it's not waiting for the accelerometer, and even if I push the button, it's not working. But it says that it's done 3 hits of the drum, and misses are 0, but we've missed every single one. So we're going to go back and we're going to close the app. We're going to close Expo Go. We're going to kill the process here. Expo AV has been deprecated and will be removed in SDK 54. Use the Expo audio and Expo video packages to replace the required functionality. We need to tell that to Grok. So we're going to copy that. Hey Grok, look at this warning we got in the terminal window where we're running the project for iOS. How does this affect our build? Paste, and then let's kill the process now. Put that out of the way, and then we're going to say the app looks great. The drum sound is perfect. However, we have an overlap in functionality with Expo Go. In Expo Go, the accelerometer is used to open the dev menu. How do we disable or temporarily disable the dev menu? Also, when we tap start, what was happening again? I already forgot. Let me go back to Expo Go here. Open up our app. Oh, we gotta run the process again. Let's go back to the screenshots. When we tap start chant, the drums sound triggers, but the app doesn't wait for a long enough time before moving to the next drum hit. Also, even though I'm not able to use the accelerometer, the miss counter is at 0, but I'm missing every single row. How can we improve this and make it better? Let's see what Grok comes back with for recommendations. So it looks like it's going to try to change the dev settings in our project. Maybe? 3-finger long press still opens the menu. That's cool. Here we go. That was fast. That only took 1 minute and 18 seconds. Here's what that warning meant. What was broken and what we fixed. Expo AV deprecation warning does not break the App Store ES build today. It's a deprecation notice. Still works in SK54, but Expo wants you on Expo audio, Expo video before it's removed later. What we did, migrated playback to Expo audio. Done. Expo Go Shake versus rowing. Expo Go uses Shake, develop a menu which steals the same motion you're trying to use for rowing. What we did, while a chant session is running, we call React Native's set is Shake to show dev menu enabled false, and re-enable it when the session ends. Smart. If Shake menu still appears, some Expo Go builds ignore that API. Open the dev menu with 3-finger long press on the screen. Press M in the Metro Terminal. Reliable row while testing. When row shows, tap the ring. Always works. Yes, but it wasn't waiting long enough. Why miss state at 0? This was a real bug, not your rowing. On each response window, we armed the detector with last mag equals 0. The next sample is 1g of gravity. So the delta looked like a huge spike. Automatic hit every cycle. You never got a miss. Warm up several samples when the window opens. Track a resting baseline near gravity. Require deliberate peak plus jerk. So it needed to figure out the physics of the rowing action. You should now see misses go up if you sit still through the row and hits only on a clear pull or ring tap. Drum hits felt too fast. Defaults were 320 milliseconds between booms, too tight for the stadium feel. New defaults. Gap between drum. Pause after second boom to row. Before was none. Now it's 180 milliseconds. Time to row was 1.1 seconds to 1.6 seconds. Between cycles, 700, 900. Try it. Reload the app. All right, here we go. So we got our terminal window here. Just go up, start our process. I'm going to hit S to switch to Expo Go. Scan into Expo Go. All right. All right, here we go. Let's try it again. Okay. So it worked correctly. I'll take a screenshot here. We got 7 hits, 1 miss. The very end, I didn't row, I didn't tap the button, I didn't shake the phone. So even though it is still opening the dev menu, we do know that the row is working now. That's great. What we've now also determined is that the audio sample of the crowd doesn't sound like anything. Terrible. It doesn't sound good at all. So let's fix that and give Grok the feedback. Here we go. Okay, everything is working great. We've confirmed the shake. We've confirmed the accelerometer. is reading correctly now. We are getting misses when we don't row or tap the button. The last issue to deal with is the crowd audio. It doesn't sound like anything. It almost sounds like it sounds like a shaker, like a maraca. I don't even know if that's how you spell it. Sound, and not a stadium full of Vikings rowing. How do we fix this? What are our options? While Grok is thinking about that, I'm going to hop over to another screen here, and I'm going to see if I can get a solution from 11 Labs. Okay. What does Grok have to say? Problem: no real human voices, weak, low, mid body, very low level, easy to miss, short, dry layers, royalty-free stadium samples, Pixabay, free commercially used, free sound. Okay, better original synthesis, MIT clean, rewrite the generator, more voices, better valve performance, low pass distance. Optionally layer Mac OS say voices. We could do that. We could do that. D, 11 Labs, audio, AI, or a sound designer records a small group and stacks them. If you say so. I'm trying to open 11 Labs. Oh, I put the wrong URL, that's why it didn't work. Alright, let's bring this over here. We want sound effects. A soccer stadium full of Vikings chanting together. The sound. Who generate? How do we describe this sound effect? Chanting together, deep, guttural, guttural? How do you spell that? Guttural. Oh. War cry sound. That is a mix of who and yo. That's not bad. I like this one better because it has a little bit more reverb, a little more space. It sounds like the voices are further away. That one just doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound as good. Alright, so we like this one? No, we like this one. Okay, star that one. Add crowd dynamics. Oh, I gotta. Oh, okay. Add crowd density. Specify crowd size. Sure. Okay, let's try generating that one. Tens of thousands. I think this is our winner. We're going to download this. 48 kilohertz. Yes. Download. Alright. And then I'm doing this on a different screen, but all I'm doing is I'm moving it from our downloads folder to our project folder. Viking Chant. I'm just going to put it in the root folder and I'll let Grok move it wherever it wants. It probably isn't going to use it, it's going to copy it. Okay, I have generated a chant sound in 11 labs, so we are free to use it and distribute it because we own it. The file is in the root project folder. Please please make it better. It is decent currently, but if you can improve upon it, that will make our app even better. And then I'm just going to give it the name of the file so it's clear what we're looking for here. The file name is, there we go. If you have any recommendations for how we could tackle this particular challenge in a better way, in a different way, you got some tools that you like to use, I'd love to learn about them. Please leave those in the comments below for my benefit and for anyone else that wants to check them out. It'd be much appreciated. Alright. Another minute and 30 seconds. Your 11 Labs chant is now the crowd engine. Here's what changed. What we did with your file, we took the source, we archived it, and then processed it. Body EQ, soft knee, layer stacking, stereo width, hall reverb, size banks, and then some adjustments. Loudness is in a much better range versus 0.02 on the old synthetic ball. It wasn't good enough. Okay, we're ready to go. We're ready to fire this up. Let me bring the terminal back over here. Here we go. Oh, that's the wrong phone. Hang on a second. Okay, here we go. See what happens. Okay, it works. Um, sounds a lot better. Sounds so much better. One final little tweak that we're gonna make to this before we call it a night is we're gonna make it accelerate. So something that we didn't specify and that Grok didn't pick up on from the video clip, which is totally fine, is that as the chant progresses, the gap between the drum hits gets shorter because they're trying to build up, right? So we're gonna describe that. We'll build it one more time. We'll test it, and I think we're done. That's a 1-day vibe code build. Let's finish. Let's get this over the finish line here. Hey Grok, that sounds so much better. Great job. One final detail that we need to add to the app is a nuanced behavior that you... Actually, the clip I gave, it didn't happen in the clip that I gave. That's why. That you that I neglected to spec for you. As the chant progresses from the first the first cycle until the final cycle, until the final cycle, the pace increases. So the pace is accelerating as the chant continues. Can we please... Should we do this as a setting? I wonder if we should do this as a setting. Can we please add a setting for... No, I don't know. Our current cadence for the start of all of the cycles is perfect, but we need to have progressively shorter cycles to match the expected behavior from the actual chants in stadiums. Let's have a setting where the user can select the current cadence to be flat, and a few settings for how fast, for how short the cycle gets by the end of the chant. If you have any questions before building this, ask away. Glad the crowd is landing. Before wiring acceleration, a few choices so we match the stadium feel and keep rowing fair. What should speed up? By the last cycle, which parts get shorter? Everything proportionally, the drum gap, the post-drum pause, the response window, between cycle rest. Only the music, the drum gap plus between cycles. Response window stays full length, so rowing never gets harder. Everything except response. This is a great question. Response shortens less, half the rate. How aggressive should the presets be? First cycle stays exactly today's timing. Last cycle is a fraction of that. Does this set feel right? Setting flat 100% current behavior. Mild 85% as long, gentle push. Medium 70% clear stadium ramp. intense 55%, real frenzy by the end, or different percentages. Curve linear from cycle 1 to end, simple, predictable, recommended. Ease in, slow early, rushes more in the last third. I think that matches better what actually happens. Even on intense, should we clamp so the response window never drops below something like 900 milliseconds? Yeah. So we're going to go with drum gap. The drum gap never changes. The drum gap doesn't change. It's always a double hit on the drum. So don't change that. What changes is how long the user waits between double drum hits. So yes. Your answer 1 minus the drum gap. And then what else? Mild, medium, weak as yes, those settings for the user to pick sound great. Linear? No. Please do an ease in. Sounds closer to real. Even on a 10 should be clamped so the response window never drops below something like that. Still row tab. Fully with the preset. Let's make sure that the user can row or tap the button whenever they want, even if it doesn't make sense. The chant button and the row sensing with the accelerometer should always be on, not just while chanting. At the World Cup matches, as the pace increases, the drums crescendo, sure, I don't know, that might not be the right word, to a pace that the human chant cannot keep up with. So let's let our users chant their little hearts out. What else? Default medium. Default for new users. Yeah, yes. Yes, please default to medium. All right, let's see how this looks. See how this turns out. Bit of a longer video today, but this is what it takes to, I think, make a good product, make a good piece of software, especially if you're going to vibe code it and not read any of the lines of code. You got to put some time into it to make it fun. That's my goal here, is to make these one-day build videos a lot of fun. Might be a little long. We're probably going to fast forward through some of this stuff, but this is fun. Pace and scale mode. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. If it does this correctly, I can't think of anything else that I would want to update yet. So This might be the version that gets pushed to GitHub for you guys to play with. Let's see. Oh, I forgot something. One more change. Okay. Free chanting. Row ring and accelerometer work anytime on home, not only in a response window. Perfect. Each pull tap plays the crowd. Cooldown so it doesn't spam. That's fine. Drums keep their own schedule. You can fall behind and still chant. Session hit. You row at least once. After that cycles. Okay, good. Pace section. Reload the app and try when you first. Okay. One minor detail, the load screen of the app shows the beautiful icon you created, but it's on a white screen and it hides the icon. Is it possible to change the load screen to have the same color background as our app home screen? I don't even remember if this is possible. Expo Go might not let me do this. Let's see. Yeah. Expo Go often still flashes white if the splash image itself has a light canvas. I had a feeling. I've had this issue with other projects. So we'll get ready. I'm going to close Expo Go. Get this set up. Alright, we're ready. One last build. Let's see how this looks. And then we'll call it a night. Here we go. We're going to scan this. Open our Expo Go. It didn't fix the load screen, but that's fine. But here we go. So now we should be able to spam this. Good. Excellent. And now we're going to start. So it didn't really kind of ramp up as much as I would have liked. So I'm going to change it to intense on pace. Just taking a screenshot to show that to you guys. Let's go back. Let's make sure the settings stayed on. It did. And now we're going to try it again. Here we go. I don't think the pace is changing at all. It seems flat to me. Oops. I shook the phone. Alright, let me... That's fun. Okay. I'm going to talk to Grok. I'm going to finish that up. I can't think of anything else that we would want to show. We haven't tested all the features yet, crowd size and all those kinds of things, but we're probably 80 to 90% of the way there. This video's long enough, I think. And yeah, so we're going to call it a night right there. If we come back and just do a quick little recap of this build, we'll do that another night, another day. But in the meantime, if you are interested in this project, you can go ahead and find it on my GitHub. I'll put the link in the description. I'll also have that available on my X account. And yeah, come by, say hi. Drop a comment below if you know some audio tools other than 11 Labs or some other solutions that you have. that you're a big fan of, and really grateful that you're here to join me today. Please be sure to hit that like button, and also please subscribe to the channel. Would indicate that you'd like to see more of this kind of stuff. So thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and keep vibe coding. We'll see ya.